Wisdom, arise, let us hear the holy gospel. Peace be with all of you.
And with your spirit.
The reading is taken from the gospel according to St. Mark. Let us be attentive. The Lord said, "If anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Whoever would save his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel's will save it. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his life? For what can a man give in return for his life? For whoever is ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him will the Son of Man also be ashamed when he comes in the glory of his Father with the holy angels." And he said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, there are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the kingdom of God come with power." Please be seated. Can we have all the kids come up front? Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Look at all those bright, shiny faces. I love to see you all here on Sunday with me. I love your mask, too. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Do you know what I have here? What? Flowers. I have flowers. What else is on here? The cross. Do you know what today is? Today is not Easter in the Orthodox Church. Today is Western Easter. So our friends, the Catholics and the Protestants, they're all celebrating Easter today. But it's not yet Easter for us. We're halfway through Lent. We're on our calendar. We're on the feast day of the Holy Cross. This is the feast day of the Holy Cross for us. This marks the halfway point through Lent. So today we have this reading from Jesus about the cross. He says, if anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel's will save it. Now, do you think in Jesus' day that people liked the cross? We like the cross now, huh? But in Jesus' day, did people like the cross? Why not? What was it used for? What happened on the cross? Do you know? Yes? They put Jesus on the cross, didn't they? Yeah. People were afraid of the cross back in Jesus' day. They were all terrified. When they took Jesus and nailed him on the cross, that was the same thing that they did to criminals back then. That was a place where they made fun of you, they made you feel bad, and people stood around and watched you die. It was terrible. And so everybody was rightly afraid of the cross back then. And so much so that all the disciples, all of Jesus' apostles, this was something that they never expected to happen. They expected for Jesus to take over and become a political leader and create the kingdom of God, the new Israel on earth. And he didn't do that. All of a sudden they see him nailed to a cross, and they don't know what to do with that. And so they all run away. Even Peter ran away. The only one that was left of all of the apostles was St. John. He was the only one. Everybody else ran away. They were terrified. They were afraid of what was happening in those moments. Now, something beautiful and freeing and terrifying happened right after that. What happened after Jesus died on the cross? He was 3 days in the tomb, and then what? He rose, the resurrection. Oh my goodness! Nobody expected that, did they? He rose from the dead. And now the cross came to symbolize something beautiful. Jesus took the cross and he transformed it, didn't he? He transformed it into something beautiful. And so now on this day, we hold it up, and it's halfway through Lent, and we say, this is something that gives us strength now. Because we go through hard times, we practice our Lent, and we try to do without things in order to give things to other people. We go without food. We try to show extra love for other people. We try to pray for them. And we're always trying to take our minds off of ourselves. As Jesus said, whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel's will save it. So we try to do that during Lent. We focus on that because we know that's the way to salvation. When we follow Jesus and his cross, denying ourselves for the sake of loving God and for the sake of loving others, what happens at the end after the death of Christ? The resurrection. And what happens at the end after our own dying to ourselves? What happens? The resurrection. So we hold this up halfway through Lent as a way of strengthening ourselves, of having hope. By the way, what kind of flowers are these? Does anybody know? Nobody knows? These are daffodils. In the Greek Orthodox Church, we always use daffodils to decorate the cross. There's always a platter full of them as we process. Later at the end of the service, we'll process this cross around the church in this bed of daffodils. Why do we use daffodils, do you think? What's the reason for that? What? To bless God? Is that what you said? I can't hear you with your mask on. I'm sorry. To bless God. Yes, it is a way to bless God. But there's something about daffodils. If you lived in areas where it snowed every winter, it snowed heavily, guess what? When spring comes, which is the flower that blooms first? Yes? Daffodils, you're right. Daffodils are the flower after the snow begins to melt away and the ground begins to clear. The very first flower that blooms is daffodils. And so, remember how when Noah was out in the ark and they were out on the water for 40 days and they didn't know if they were going to find land, and he sent out a dove, and the dove brought back in his beak an olive branch. That olive branch was a hope. A hope of what? That they would be saved. There would be life. There's somewhere out there, there's life and a place for us to land for us to settle into. And so the daffodils are kind of like that. They're God's first sign of hope that winter is going away, that spring is coming, and life is coming, because everything dies during the winter, right? Under the snow. Life is coming. So it's hope for us. Also, these are very bright and cheerful, right? I love the color of these. You know, after you've been looking outside your house at snow and everything turns gray and there's nothing alive anymore, none of the trees have branches on them, and then you look out into your yard and you see these popping up, would that make you feel good? And it gives you hope that life is coming, more life. Spring is coming. It's going to warm up. It's going to be beautiful soon. And I'll be able to go outside and wear my t-shirt in the sun. Okay? So we have these. They also kind of look like trumpets, don't they? Doot, 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 doot. Whenever a king is coming, right? You play a trumpet doot, 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 to announce that the king is coming, right? Is there a king coming? Is there? Who's the king that's coming? You. Not me. No. Who's the king that's coming? Jesus is the king that's coming. We're looking forward to his resurrection. We're looking forward to him becoming, because we die to ourselves, he becomes king over our hearts. And we begin really looking intently at following the things that he's telling us to do. What do you want? Jesus, what do you want us to do here on earth? You want us to become like you. You want us to become interested in the things you're interested in doing. You want us to do the things out in the world that you would do. And in that way, the king comes, and he comes into our hearts, right? So today, we're at the end of the service. We'll process this around. All the altar boys will be there in the procession with us. I'll be at the front. And all of you are going to kneel. We all kneel to the cross because Jesus Christ takes precedence over everything. He's the one who, in the hierarchy of everything, what he wants is the most important thing. So we kneel before the King, Jesus Christ, and we remember that after the cross comes life, the resurrection in Jesus Christ. And we take strength from that to keep going the rest of the way through Lent. God bless you all. I hope your mommies and daddies stop and they talk to you about this, what it means to live this way. Moms and dads, come on. And they do activities with you to give money to the poor, to find out what Jesus' teachings about things are and how we can follow them. And we all become strengthened together and we grow in the Lord in this way. God bless you all.